Okay, we're going to kick it off. Thank you for your patience, everyone, for everyone who joined a few minutes early. Good afternoon and good morning to everyone tuning in live to this Ivy webinar today. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tara. I work with Ivy, which is a community and business management software for designers. And designers use Ivy to create and send proposals, send tear sheets, track and bill for your hours, send POs to vendors, and all that fun stuff. But every Wednesday, we host a webinar for designers to learn about the different ways that you can manage your business more efficiently and more profitably. So today, I'm really excited to welcome my dear friend, Yian Quach, to the Ivy webinar stage. This is actually his second webinar that he's hosting with us. And Yian is a website expert and copywriter specializing in helping designers and other creative professionals to build a better business by building a better website. And he's worked with designers all over the country. He's probably worked with a lot of you who are tuning in today and has appeared on lots of leading podcasts such as Well Designed Business, Design and Style, Tastefully Inspired, and Design Talk Live with our friend Joseph. So in his first webinar, he really presented specifically a website masterclass, but today he'll focus on how to attract better clients with a better website. And he'll be sharing specific action items you can take to really give your website a facelift. So he'll be taking the stage for the next 45 minutes and he'll answer all of your questions live at the end of his presentation. So I kindly ask, if you have questions for Yian, please do not post them in the live chat. He will not be able to see those questions. So please go ahead and click the Ask a Question tab that appears right below his face to submit your questions, and he'll be sure to answer them live. And for those of you who are not yet using Ivy, I highly encourage you to stay after the presentation because my colleague Risa will jump on and walk you through the Ivy software to show you what Ivy is all about. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome Yian. Thank you so much, Yian.
Thank you, Tara. Thanks for having me. Thank you for everyone who's tuning in. And Tara, I'm guessing I can just start sharing my screen whenever I'm ready to start the presentation. Is that right?
Correct. Go right ahead.
Okay, great. So yes, thank you again to Ivy for making this webinar possible, to Tara for hosting this, and for all of you for tuning in. My name is Yian Quach, and I'm going to share my computer screen with you guys to start my presentation. Okay. Okay. So now, how to attract better clients with a better website. Let's jump right in. All right. My name is Yian Quach, as I said, and this is the homepage of my website. I help hardworking designers build a better business by building a better website. And my website is housedigitaldesign.com. A couple samples of my work here. Really, the focus of my work is my focus within web design really is to create websites that feel super clean and clear, have very focused messaging, and at the end of the day, help designers to turn interested eyeballs into interested phone calls. That's a brief, quick bit about me. At the end of the presentation, I'll tell you guys a bit more about me, how I work, and how I can help you. Okay, so today, how to attract better clients with a better website. First, it really is worth posing the question, what is a better client? How do we define that, right? And in the dozens of designers that I've worked with, at the beginning of each project, I ask a very simple question of kind of what is your goal, what kind of clients are you looking to work with, etc. And almost without fail, they say a better client to them means that the client would trust their suggestions, trust their design direction so that their work can be more profitable and enjoyable. And I'd be curious for all you guys out there tuning in right now, if that really resonates with you, can I get a heck yeah? Can I get a hell yeah, in the chat? Does this really speak to your, definition of a better client, right? Okay, so a key word here is trust, right? Trust, really, it's not given, it's earned, obviously. And at the end of the day, your clients in general, are looking for a guide. They're looking for a guide that they can trust. And, you know, it's really worth mentioning, I think, that when we find ourselves, and I say ourselves, so I include myself in this community of designers, being a designer myself, when we find ourselves faced with situations with our clients in which we don't feel like they're trusting us, we don't feel like they're giving us you know, what we need to really lead the project as a guide, we really should be asking ourselves, what is it that we are doing that is partly contributing to the situation, and what can we do to make adjustments so that we can, you know, avoid that with future clients. So the answer to this question of how do we earn trust is answered in this way by a man named Donald Miller, who's the author of Building a Story Brand, which is a book that I absolutely love, by the way. It transformed my approach to my own messaging, helped me clarify my message in my business, and it's helping me to help my clients clarify their message. So just side note, if you haven't heard of this book, I strongly suggest it. It is a very concise, it's like 2 years of marketing, just boom, went into one concise book, and he's such a good writer and teacher. So what he says on page 78 is, the two things a brand must communicate to position themselves as a guide are empathy and authority. And you know, when I saw this on page 78, these two words, I was like, absolutely, that makes total sense. Those are two main ingredients. So today, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about 3 specific actionable ways to communicate empathy on your website. We're going to talk about 3 specific actionable ways to communicate authority on your website. And then we're going to talk about how I can help you. And I'm going to offer a reduced price offer today only. And then we're going to end with an Ask Me Anything Q&A session, in which you'll be able to ask me about your own website, ask about websites in general. That's a very free flow format that we're going to do. 3 ways to communicate empathy. Number 1, identify your client and their desire in your copy. And for those of you who are not familiar with the term copy, it just means the text on your website and in your marketing material. Okay. And what we're looking at right here is the homepage of my website. And I have the first words that they read are, helping hardworking designers build a better business by building a better website. So as you can see, I've identified my client right off the bat as hardworking designers. Okay, and I'd be interested for you, when you see this, does a light bulb go off in your head? Like, does that resonate with you? Like, wow, yes, I'm a hardworking designer. And when that resonates with you, does that bring you closer to me? Does that help you to trust me more? You know, and also identifying desire, right? So my client's desire is to build a better business. That's their overall desire. And the way we do it is building a better website. Okay, so a very simple statement like this, very clearly stating your mission and including your client and their desire in your mission, can be one very powerful way to earn their trust by showing empathy to their needs, by showing them that you understand them and their needs. If they feel like you understand them, they'll be more likely to trust you. Okay. This particular line here, I use on the homepage of my website. I use it in my email signature. It's on my business card, etc. It's a very short business in words. Okay, so this is something that you can do, and for yourself, you know, what you would need to do to create something like this is consider who are your target clients. Are they busy families? Are they hardworking professionals? Are they busy professionals? How would you describe them succinctly in several words? Now, obviously, I know that for some designers, this is very difficult, and if not impossible to do, because they work with so many different types of clients and they don't want to limit themselves to just families, to just professionals, to just any one type. And so, you know, you could say helping homeowners, but I will say, if you can define your client very specifically, narrow it down, then you'll be working towards a niche, okay? The second part, identifying their desire. So for me, it's helping my clients build a better business. For you, it might be helping your clients eliminate clutter, helping your clients enjoy family time better with a better designed home. You know, it could be helping your clients impress their neighbors. You know, you can get kind of facetious and clever with this here, you know, especially if it's not your mission statement, but more just like a social media post, okay? All right, so that's number one, identify your client and their desire in your copy. This can build empathy with your client, which can lead to trust. Let's go on to number two. Describe your client and their needs in a client letter. So this is similar to number one, but obviously it's a different format. So whereas number one is just like a tagline, like of one sentence, this is actually a letter that you can put on your website. And this is a very powerful way to speak directly to your client, directly to their needs. I'm gonna read this one out here. This is one that I helped a client of mine named Susan Hill, right? And it says, "Dear homeowner, you want your home to be a harmonious, livable sanctuary. You want it to look like the homes you see in magazines, the one you Pinterest while you unwind at night. But you're very busy. You work hard, managing your children's school pickup and after-school activities, cooking and planning parties. You're too busy to design that dream home, or you just don't know where to start. I get that. Together, we can build your dream home, one that is functional and lives like you want it to. We can design a floor plan that works for your growing family, create the wine room of your dreams, or program a functional kitchen where you can host cozy meals for your family and friends. I want you to live your best life in a home you've dreamt about. My mantra is transform your home, transform your life. I invite you to view my work and learn more about my approach to interior design. Then feel free to reach out. I look forward to speaking with you. Susan." Okay, so very plain spoken, right? Just speaking directly to your client. And as you can see, it's organized into 3 paragraphs. Number one, what are their needs? What are their desires? Number two, how can you help? How can you help them? And number 3, what's the first step to working with you? What should they do after visiting your website? It's a very simple formula, okay? I call it a client letter. Some people would call it a sales letter. You know, at the end of the day, on your website, you know, there are certain key things that you need to communicate to communicate empathy and to earn their trust. And in doing it this way with this one letter, it brings it all so succinctly into one piece. And I believe that, I'm guessing that for a lot of you, it would be a lot easier for you to write a letter like this than to write what's considered traditional copy for a homepage of your website, where you're kind of, you're trying to like put this bit here, and make it all fit together really neatly and nicely, like look really professional. You know, one of the biggest things I see on websites is that the layout can get really disorganized and looking chaotic, and because it's working with the copy and it's all not feeling cohesive. But doing it this way with one letter draws it all together, okay, in one simple piece. Now, the other benefit of doing a letter is this. You're an interior designer or other creative professional, right? And you're in the business, excuse me, you're in the business of helping clients in a very intimate way. You're in their home. Obviously, the relationship that you have with them is very important. And doing it as a letter really opens that conversation in a way, because you're speaking directly to them in the first person, even if it's just subliminal, they will feel a connection with you in a way that they may not if you're using, just traditional sales copy, written in the third person, throughout your site. So really consider writing a client letter for your website in order to communicate empathy and build trust with your client. Okay. Let's go to number 3. Describe client needs in a project description. Okay. First of all, what is a project description? Project description is a piece of text that will appear with a particular project in your portfolio. So in this case, we're looking at the website of one of my clients, April Force Pardo, at a project called Summer Cypress Court. And it reads, our clients wanted a more functional layout for their master bedroom with maximum storage. By removing the large soaking tub, we made space for a larger shower and 2 storage cabinets. Okay, and look at those first 3 words, our clients wanted. Okay, and so April here is very clearly identifying what the client asked for. And then in the second sentence, she is describing how she met those needs, how she created a solution for that space. Okay, this sends the message that your approach to design is based on their needs. And that's not trivial. That's not a trivial thing. There are clients who have the fear that someone is going to come into their house and is going to, just go their own way, bring their own concept, right? And especially clients who have never worked with a designer before and don't understand the process. So this is one very specific way that you can reassure them that your approach is client focused, that it is about them, it is about what they want. And it's not just you telling them, oh, my approach is client focused. It's one thing to say that your approach is client focused, but putting this project description here in your portfolio proves that your approach is client focused. Okay, and it proves that you are listening. It proves that that you understand, and it proves that you empathize. Okay. So number 3, a way to communicate empathy is to create a project description. And by the way, project descriptions, it's one of the things that I see the most missing from websites that I visit. And I think it's one of the biggest missed opportunities, not only to communicate empathy, but to demonstrate your design expertise, to demonstrate your ability to solve problems. Okay, if you're just putting up a portfolio of pictures, then that's all. Then in a way, that's all it is, and it's just a collection of pretty pictures, and it's really relying on the client to be able to pick up the details. There's a lot of details that go into your work, especially for those of you who do custom work, custom built-ins, custom upholstery. If a client just comes to your portfolio and they look at those cushions, those pillows on the sofa, how do they know that's custom? How do they know that's not just from Home Goods or something? And so if you can use a project description to really highlight and bring out the detail and bring out the intention behind your work, then this really brings a level of depth to their viewing experience of your portfolio, and it really increases the perceived value of your work. Okay, so that's number 3, is creating that project description. I really encourage all of you, if you don't have project descriptions in your portfolio now, really take this step. Here we have a very simple formula to do it. It's 2 sentences. My clients wanted, or you could say the challenge of this project was to, ... right? Second sentence, you tell how you met those needs. Okay. And actually, you'll see this formula used in design magazines, Traditional Home, Lux Magazine, etc. When you read their synopses of these projects, if you really look, you'll see that the writer is really pulling out these details and what the client wanted and how it was solved. Okay. All right. So let's move on. All right. So. Second category, 3 ways to communicate authority, right? So number 1 was empathy, number 2 is authority, right? Okay, get high quality testimonials and reviews. Okay, now this is, a pretty obvious one, right? That if you can show potential clients that, show them that other clients have had a really great experience with you, who trust you, then they'll be more likely to trust you, to trust you as an authority in their project, more likely to trust your suggestions and your design direction. Okay, and what do I mean by high quality? What I mean is a testimonial, a review that really shows that your client took some care, took some time to write it, right? And that communicates that they value you, okay? And so if potential clients are seeing that past clients value you, that appreciate you enough to write a high quality testimonial, a testimonial more than just 1 sentence, that sends a very important message. Okay, so general recommendations for length of a testimonial, I would say maybe 5 sentences is good. And as you can see here on this website, for Studio James, which is one of my clients, Victoria Jones, based in Colorado, we've got text after text after text, so it has the risk of being a little bit text heavy on this page. So what we've done is actually bolded certain sentences of each testimonial. Now on this page there are about 7 testimonials, and as a result of bolding it, when someone comes to this page, if they only read the bolded text, all the bolded text, we've chosen bolded text very specifically so that even if they read just the bolded text, it actually fits together as one cohesive testimonial, because it speaks to different aspects, of the experience. Okay, so if you've got multiple testimonials, consider, using this technique so that when people come to this page, they don't just see all this text and say, oh, I'm not going to read all this. Draw their eye to what you want them to see. Okay. Now, on my own website, on this second one here, this is my own website, and as you can see, I have embedded testimonials embedded reviews from Facebook. Okay, and so instead of just copying and pasting the text from the review over to my website, I actually embedded the review. And this sends a very important message as well. I mean, this is a more credible, trustworthy way to relay a review, isn't it? Because if you just copy and paste, someone can say, oh well, did that person really write that? Has this been embellished, right? But if you embed the review from Facebook, it's got a little more oomph to it, right? And so. And it also reminds them that you are on Facebook, that you are active on Facebook, and draws them to your Facebook, which can lead to that added a channel in which they are taking in your brand. Okay. I generally recommend a 2-column layout if you are embedding reviews, so that it the space is kind of filled up nicely. Right? At the bottom, you can have a button that says, view more reviews on Facebook. Now, and another thing is actually to get that review, on Facebook, you know, to make sure you are asking for reviews on Facebook. If you are just asking for reviews by email right now, when they email that review to you, ask them, would you be willing to post this on Facebook? And in that email, put the link to your Facebook business page, you know, right to the review section. So all I have to do is click that link, copy what they wrote, paste it as a review, okay? Really consider doing that. And then here's a hot tip here, how to prompt your client to describe their transformation. And this word transformation really speaks to a high quality review. It's one thing for someone to say, oh, you know, Jane Doe is amazing. I couldn't recommend her more highly. It's one for them to say that. It's another thing for them to describe the transformation of this space, which has a lot more oomph to it. Okay, so really try to get your clients to not only praise you with adjectives, but to actually tell the story of how you helped them. Okay, and so here are 6 questions that can prompt that transformation. Number 1, what was the space like before you worked with Jane Doe? Okay, so for you, just insert your own name here for Jane Doe. Okay. Number 2, what did it feel like when your space was that way? You know, so for example, someone would say, oh, it felt so frustrating when I would have people over. So it felt so embarrassing when I had people over and my space didn't feel finished and polished, you know? How did Jane Doe help you? What was the scope of the project? What did you like about working with Jane? Was there a moment you knew that you were happy with the result? Describe what life looks like now that your new space is finished. Okay, so if they simply answer these 6 questions, then this will be a story about working with you, and this can be and this can feel much more high quality than just a 1 or 2 sentence. Okay, and feel free to screenshot this and to use these questions. Okay, so right, and we're still talking about authority here, right? So the number 2 way, second way to communicate authority is to tell a technical story on your website. Okay, and what do I mean by this? What is a technical story? A technical story is a story about a project that you've done, in which you identify the challenge. Right, you identify the parameters of the project, and then you tell them how you solved the problem. And you get a little bit technical. You bring them a little bit in behind the scenes to what you had to do technically to create this solution. And what we're seeing here, what we're looking at here is a page on a website of Boo Randall, who's a client that I designed a website for. She's based down in New Orleans. And this is a project in which she designed an office space. And as you can see in this technical story, she's actually including sketches. And this is a custom built-in, custom shelving that she created. And you know, we see all her measurements here, etc. And this really, you know, hits that point home that that design that she's showing in those after photos, that design didn't just happen, right? Design doesn't just happen. No, design comes from a concept. It comes from a place of intention, and that's design. That is your work. That is the value of your work. That's why they hire you, is to do this. They can't do this. Okay, that's why they're hiring you. And I think it's a mistake to assume that clients are just going to look at your portfolio, to look at your beautiful, you know, after photos. I think it's a mistake to assume that they're going to be able to just get it. That they're going to be able to just look at those photos and say, I see how much work went into this. I see why it's important for me to hire a designer. I see the value. No, it needs to be spelled out for them a little bit. All right, even if it's just subconscious, by putting photos like this up, and telling this technical story can really hit that point home. You can also, before photos are also a good way to help tell this story. Obviously, one of the challenges of using a before photo on your website is, doing it in such a way that still allows your website to feel attractive and polished. Because before photos have a way of staining a page, right? And if you're interested in seeing how I've created a solution for this problem, you should check out the websites in my portfolio of Susan Hill and Boo Randall and Kelly Price. On those websites, what I've done is I've created a button in the project description in which, when they click that button, a window pops up on the page and it shows the before photo. And then they can click X and it goes away. So in other words, we can put those before photos in a drawer, okay? And so we can present those before photos without staining the page, right? And this, to do this, to make this happen for your own website, is obviously a matter of technical execution. For me to do that, to put those photos in a drawer, to have that pop up, was it's a custom solution that I made. It was a piece of custom coding, so that's actually not available straight out of the box with Squarespace. For those of you who use Squarespace, just know that if you're interested in having me help you to create that custom solution, then feel free to reach out to me and see how I can help you to do that. For those of you on Wix and WordPress, well, let me talk about Wix first. For Wix, I'm not sure if they have it. For WordPress, you may be able to find a plugin out there because WordPress has so many plugins available. Maybe be able to find a plugin to do that technique. Okay, but bringing it back to our topic here, is telling a technical story is a second way that you can communicate authority on your website in order to earn trust from your clients. Okay. All right, number 3, make a very neat first impression. And this is an obvious one. This is a trivial one, but it is one that I still see a lot of designers not really nailing. There's a very clear message that is sent with your presentation, right? Presentation is a key word here, right? If you present neatly, then there's a better chance that they're going to trust you to do the work neatly and to do the work right. Okay, and so the importance of neatness in your presentation cannot be overstated. Neatness on your website really comes down to layout. It comes down to focus. So that whatever page that they're on your website, that there is a clear focus, that the eye knows where to go, that you're not making their eyes work hard to know where to look. Okay, and this is a trivial, or rather I should say, it's easy to understand why this is important. It's not so easy to execute it. Execution comes down to web design and it comes down to copywriting, and they really go hand in hand. Because in order to deliver your message succinctly, your copy has to be broken up into bite-sized pieces throughout your site in a way that makes visual sense, and that all has to come together. And that is actually why the way I work is as a web designer and a copywriter. Okay, some people work at just web design and they rely on you to send them your copy. And a lot of times with that, a lot of things can get kind of lost in translation. There's two creative minds working, and it can sometimes not quite fit together neatly, right? So, and that's why I do combine web design and copywriting. But my point is, for you, when you're going through your own site and looking at it with fresh eyes, really think about how the design and the copy work together to deliver very clean, clear, neat presentation. Okay, that's number 3. All right, so let's summarize. 3 ways to communicate empathy. Identify your client and their needs in your copy. This is the copy on your website, the copy in a social media post, copy in a lot of places. Make sure you're really identifying your client. Make sure you're speaking to their needs. Make sure that you're not just saying too much about yourself. Make sure you're focusing on them. Number 2, describe your client and their needs in a client letter. Okay, as I said, I think a client letter is a very succinct, clear way to basically win them in one shot. And it's a very easy way, layout-wise. It's much easier than most website layouts. Okay, really consider doing that. Number 3, describe client needs in a project synopsis. And actually, the word that I used before was project description. Okay, synopsis is another word I use for this sometimes. Okay, so if you don't have project descriptions on your site yet, really invest yourself in that, and you can use that 2-sentence formula that I presented. 3 ways to communicate authority. Make sure you're getting high quality testimonials and reviews. Okay, remember high quality being to get them to tell that story, and use those prompts that I shared with you. Tell a technical story. All right. Obviously, you don't want it to be too technical, but you want to flex your design muscle a little bit here. Really impress them a little bit here with maybe some terms that they might not know. And obviously, if you're using terms they may not know, obviously you define them if necessary, but really stretch them a bit. Okay. And then obviously, to make a very neat first impression, make sure your presentation is really on point. And if you look at my own website and you look at the websites in my portfolio, you'll really see an emphasis on this of presentation. Okay. So that's it. So that's summary. All right. Here's a couple bonus things for you guys. Right. What else? How else can you earn trust with clients? Use a professional email address. Right. So if you're using a Google or a Yahoo email, really, get a professional email address. The one that I recommend is Gmail, or no, sorry, it's Google's business email. They call it G Suite. It's $5 a month, and pretty easy to set up. Well, actually, it's actually not that easy to set up. There are a few hoops you have to jump through. If you need help with that, feel free to reach out to me, and we can see if I can help you with that. Use a formal letter of agreement. I mean, for anyone out there who is perhaps starting their business and they're feeling a little bit shy about doing a formal letter of agreement, I say you're hurting yourself by not doing so. It's one of the biggest red flags to a client that you're not a pro, that you do things Mickey Mouse. You should be using a formal letter of agreement. Make sure that you have terms in there, and that it's professional. Charge for your initial consultations. Obviously, this is something in the design community. It's one of the most hot button things talked about. One of the things that most people have the most challenge, having the courage to actually take that leap, right? But if you can make that leap and start charging for initial consultations, that sends a very important message about the value of your time. People will value something more if they're paying for it generally. And I think one of the keys to finding the courage to charge for initial consultation is make sure that you truly are delivering value. Make sure that you are that there is a deliverable from it. Be it like a summary of action items, or something like that. Okay. Use branded leave behinds. Leave behinds, of course, being like a folder of documents that you leave behind with them after a consultation that has your logo on it, your process, etc. This is another way that you can emphasize that you're not just that you're not just someone sitting at home, doing this as a hobby. That this is a business, and you are professional, and that they can trust you as a professional. Okay. be clear about how you charge for your work, and this obviously starts with you really getting clear about that first, of how you charge for your work. And when you are able to articulate clearly how you charge for your work with confidence, this is one way that they will trust you more. And obviously be very organized. This comes down to, that this relates to presentation. Okay, be very organized. So those are some bonus things. Okay, so now that's the part of the presentation where I'm talking about the topic. Now I'd like to move into who I am and how I can help you, okay? So first, before about me, let's talk about you, right? Who are you? You are a designer or a creative professional. You want your business to be more profitable and enjoyable. Websites, branding, etc. Oh my, right? Help from an expert? Yes, please. About me. I'm a website expert and copywriter. I specialize in working with designers and creatives. My creative approach is collaborative and holistic. And if you'd like to know more about my methodology and my rates, you can go to my website, housedigitaldesign.com. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing, or I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to take a look at your questions. Here it is. Yian, you mentioned Squarespace for developing your website. Do you also help clients who already have a WordPress site, or do you want them to transfer their website over to Squarespace? Melinda, great question. Yes, absolutely, I can help clients who are on WordPress. And I can help in several ways. Number one, I can do a website audit with you in which I really help you to go through, clarify your message, so that's copywriting related, and also to make very specific and actionable suggestions for things to change about the organization, structure, and layout of your website. And so then with that list of actionable suggestions, you could then do that in WordPress yourself or with your WordPress designer that you work with. Note that I don't work in WordPress anymore. I used to work in WordPress in the beginning. That's what the platform I started on. But now I've come over to Squarespace. Actually almost all my clients who I redesign their website, they have WordPress sites, and we transfer them over to Squarespace. Second question, can you give guidance on what we should include on our About page? Yes. Generally, what I recommend for an About page is to, number one, have that client letter. Okay, if it's not on your homepage, it's on your About page. Look at my About page to see this, how I've created a very brief client letter, and then obviously your traditional bio. I think the biggest tip that I have for writing a bio is that I subscribe to the school of thought that says that you should be separating your sales language from your biography. When people come to your bio, they're generally looking to know more about you, okay? You've already kind of, got enough of their interest. In other words, you've already sold them, okay, enough. Don't keep mixing in sales language when what they're really looking for is to know more about you, and what they're really looking to know is, why are you qualified? How are you qualified, okay? For those of you who, maybe struggling to find the ways in which you are qualified, right? Because you haven't been published in magazines yet, because you are not an award-winning designer yet, etc. Reach out to me. I have some, by email, reach out to me. I have some very specific instructions or ideas about that. Okay. Number two, where do you place the client letter on your website? Either on the About page or the homepage. And you can see examples of this. Look at my own website, and also look at Susan Hill's website for examples of this. In project descriptions, how many photos do you recommend we include per project? Are before/after shots recommended along with descriptions? So generally, I recommend anywhere between like 5 and 12 photos for a project. Obviously, you want to be curating your photos and really choosing the most impactful ones. Yes, before and after shots are recommended. Again, I like to use a technique in which I put the before photos in a drawer or behind a button. I don't like to put them right out there because they stain the page. So thank you, Heather Hughes, for that question. Where do you put a technical story? Separate tab, portfolio? Look at Boo Randall's website in my portfolio. Look at Boo Randall. See where she's put it. She's actually called it like a process and practice page. But where you can do a technical story is as a blog post, or just do it as a social media post. Take some photos from a particular project of yours, find those sketches that you did from it, create that technical story, and post it. Okay, thank you to Julie for asking that question. Next question, Ian, you mentioned Squarespace for developing your website. Do you also help? Okay, we answered that one. Okay, from Allegra, this is great so far. What if you don't have a huge portfolio? How do you treat this on your site? Do you publish just what you have? Can you also include styling projects, etc., to show your experience and eye? So great question, Allegra. Look at the website in my portfolio for Heather Bentley, Heather Bentley Design. And what you'll see in her portfolio is she's only got 3 projects. Okay, so what we've done with her is instead of doing like 3 thumbnails, you know, like this project, this project, this project, which really calls attention to the fact that you only have 3 projects. What we've done is we put them all on one page as one scroll. And so it really feels a bit more beefy to it. So in general, if you don't have a huge portfolio yet, I really recommend, I think 3 projects is a really great, really solid number. You know, 3 makes a collection, right? So I would say if you have anywhere between 3 and 5 projects, consider putting them all on one page. Okay, so it really kind of makes it feel more beefy. It kind of hides, or it doesn't draw attention to the fact, it doesn't draw attention to how many projects you have in your portfolio. Okay, and that's what design is all about, right? Whether it's web design or whether it's interior design, it's about using these tricks, right, to draw the eye, right, to use these little optical illusions, and that's an optical illusion you can use if you don't have a lot of projects in your portfolio. Okay, so thank you, Allegra, for that question. Can you show us an example of a formal letter of agreement? And this question is from Stephanie. Stephanie, I could show you an example of a formal letter of agreement. I can show you my letter of agreement. If you're interested in that, email me. I'll send you my letter of agreement. In terms of letters of agreement for an interior designer, I really recommend that you tap into your resource of peers and friends to see how other people are doing in a letter of agreement as an interior designer. Who should we reach out to via email? Is it okay to send cold emails? This question from Stephanie. Stephanie, I'm not sure I quite understand this question. Reach out by email. I'm going to assume that you're asking about reaching out by email for testimonials and reviews. No, that wouldn't make sense because that wouldn't be a cold email. You know, I guess I'm going to assume that you're talking about email marketing, or yeah, just kind of approaching people, you know, by email, you know, as that initial, you know, start to the conversation with them. And you know, that is a way to do it, to start that conversation. If you are going to do it that way, if you are going to send someone a cold email, I really recommend being very intentional about your copy. Keep it really short and really speak to their needs. Create that one-liner, you know, like I've done. You know, I help hardworking designers build a better business by building a better website. So get that one-liner for you, and maybe, you know, incorporate that really early on. Or better yet, you know, that section of this presentation I said about you, about me, and you got those 3 bullet lines. That's a really nice way to, you know, to do that as well. So it's cut right through the BS. You know, this is who you are, this is what you want, this is who I am, and how I can help. Okay, keep it really, really short and sweet. Okay, next question from Kate. What if you're new with no testimonials, etc.? Well, obviously, if you're brand new with 0 projects or 0 clients, you can't get a testimonial yet from a project, but you could get a recommendation from, if you're coming out of design school, from a teacher, from a friend and colleague who has been to your home, who has experienced your design. Anyone who's experienced your design and has seen you, do some stuff, then they could speak to what they felt about it. Make sure that they're not saying, "Oh, Kate is an amazing designer." Make sure they're speaking about their experience with your design. Next question from Robin. Most of my portfolio is from designing model homes, which did not have an actual homeowner as a client. As of now, I'm starting my own business and want to work with individual clients. What kind of project descriptions should I use to communicate empathy authority when I did not actually have client input? Well, Robin, if you were working designing model homes, weren't you working with a builder? And so wouldn't they be the client, and didn't they have desires and didn't you design to those needs? And if so, that's a way that you listened to your client and had understanding. That's how you demonstrate your empathy. For embedding Facebook reviews, are they just leaving the review on your Facebook business page? Yeah, they're leaving reviews on your Facebook business page, exactly. Okay, thank you, Nita, for that question. From Hannah, what does a formal letter agreement look like? What does it include? Will it scare people off? Will it scare people off? Yeah, I think that is the fear, isn't it, with formal letters of agreement, especially when we're first starting out. Are we going to scare this person by being so formal, right? And at the end of the day, no, clients generally will respect you more if you do have a formal letter. I mean, come on, what professional doesn't have a contract, right? A formal letter of agreement is a contract, and it doesn't need to have all sorts of jargon in it, like actually my letter of agreement, it's written very plain spoken, very straightforward. There's no big words or anything like that, so if you'd like to see an example of a letter of agreement that is quite approachable and quite friendly, and not scary, email me. If I want, okay, so next question from Melissa. If I want to start from scratch for a new website, do you have a preference for a platform? Yes, Squarespace, hands down. Check it out. Do you always suggest organizing the site by project? And sorry, let me just go back to that. Squarespace, because super clean user experience for clients, great customer service, super clean templates and design, and the ability to work with me. That's what I would say. Next question. Do you always suggest organizing the site by project, or have you ever done it by room type? Yes, I have done it by room type. Actually, I did it 2 ways. One, by project and by room type. They had their option. And that is a website called Everick Brown Design. EverickBrownDesign.com. That's EVERICK. EverickBrownDesign.com. You can check that out. And thank you, Constance, for that question. And last question from April. To find a client, and that's just the question, to find a client. I'm not sure what the question, oh, that's from Stephanie. I'm not sure what the question is there, Stephanie. And from April, can you embed Houzz reviews, Google reviews? You know what? I don't know for sure, but I think it's probably possible. I would definitely look into it. It should be possible, yeah, to embed Houzz reviews and Google reviews. Yeah, absolutely, look into it. If you have any questions, if you need help, feel free to reach out to me. Schedule a Ask Me Anything phone call. All right. And again, let me just sum up by saying, guys, if you do have any quick questions, you can always feel free to email me. If it's something that I can answer in a sentence, or if I can just paste a link that you can learn the solution yourself, I'm happy to do it. And if it's something that needs something more in-depth, needs a phone call, or needs more of my time to answer, I'll just tell you, this is a great question. It's going to need a bit more time to do it justice, and the way to do it would be to hire me for an Ask Me Anything phone call, and we can dig into this together. Okay. So that's the end of the questions. Thank you all so much for your questions. Thank you all so much for joining me in this webinar. And I hope that this has given you very actionable tips, advice to put this into practice on your own website. I hope this has given you the confidence to go forward, put some of these things into practice, and if you do need help, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to speak with you and help you in any way I can. With that, I'm going to turn it over back to Tara. Tara, take it away.
Thank you so much, Yian. Thank you for coming today. We've learned so much from you, and we're looking forward to bringing you on another time soon. Have a great day. And stay on, everyone, because we're going to be inviting Risa, who's going to give you a live demo of Ivy. For those of you who are signed in, who are interested in seeing what Ivy is all about, Risa, who's joining right now, is going to show you.
Hi guys, wow. How are you? That was a great session with Yian, and all very important things in terms of branding. And the biggest part that I want to cover with you guys today is how do you get to the point of where you're even focusing on a website? You really need to have your operations, your ducks in a row, and that's where Ivy comes into play. So thanks for the introduction, Tara. I apologize that my face was so big there for a second. If you are using Ivy, feel free to stay. You can tell people what you love about Ivy, but we're definitely going to just jump right into this demo. Hi there. All right, so let me go ahead, share my screen really quickly while I'm getting set up. Those of you who are not using Ivy or any software, maybe you're using QuickBooks or Excel, I would love to hear, hi Brian, a little bit about what you're currently using and what's working for you and what's not working for you. And I will be sharing my screen as well. Just give me 1 second. And a little quick introduction. I used to run an interior design firm in San Francisco. So that was really crazy fun, but very disorganized. So definitely, having a system like Ivy will help you make so much more money, will help you track your time. Gonna dive right in here, and I'm actually gonna unshare my screen. Sorry, this just happens for 1 second. Okay, perfect. All right, so right here, I have my screen up. You should be able to see my screen. And let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll make sure to get to them at the end of our session as well. And I also just want to ask you a couple quick questions in terms of tracking your time. Are you using any sort of software right now? If not, definitely time is one of the biggest things I would definitely say that designers usually don't bill out for. So what we've created is this amazing time tracker within Ivy, and we've also just launched our Ivy app, which we're super excited about. So definitely, if you're using Ivy and you haven't downloaded it yet, be sure to download it as soon as possible. But what you can do right here is you can select the project that you're working on, and you can select the service that you're providing. You can have your default rates in there. You can mark them taxable or not taxable. And then from there, you can add in your little description, and you can start the timer. So you can use this timer in a lot of different ways. And definitely, if you just want to go in and you have a flat fee invoice that you want to create, you can do that with Ivy. I'm just showing you one of the ways you can use this. And then from here, what I can do is I can stop this timer. I can log the time. And this is where you can edit your time. And I can generate a really quick and easy invoice to send to my client. Everything's organized. Again, you can do this on the go. Ivy is based in the cloud. The app right now just has time tracking and to-dos, but still it's something that you can be doing while you're on the go. And then at the end of the month, Today's August 1st. Hopefully everybody, quick and easy, takes you a couple seconds to just click this button and generate a time billing invoice. Okay, and then the best part about this is that you can actually go in and just save and send this and ask your client for online payment. True story, I get email screenshots of one of our Ivy designers' inbox where he just gets so excited when people pay him, because he says that people pay him within seconds of him sending the invoice. And he's also keeping his bookkeeper happy because his accounts receivable is down, which is a good thing. And he has the money coming in. He doesn't have to wait for money coming in to, order products or get paid or pay his employees. And right here, there's a little button for credit card or bank transfer. You can take credit card. There's a 3% processing fee, which you can bill out to your client, or bank transfer. There's a 1.2% processing fee with bank transfer. And if you want to, you can be transparent with your client and charge the fee, or you can roll that into your purchase fee. It's totally up to you. I can't tell you what to do. I can just tell you what other designers do. And just so you can see what this looks like on the client's end and how easy it is for them, what you can have right here, they just open it up and they click pay now, and they can just click the option that they want to pay with, and right there, done. Okay. And from there, what you can do is the money will just go right into your bank account, 1 to 2 business days, and you get paid. Pretty nice and pretty easy. Okay. In terms of like what I just showed you right now, that's really just a time billing invoice. But what I really want to show you is the overall process from start to finish of when you create the project and what the flow looks like and how easy it is to put products into your proposals and do everything in one place instead of having scattered screenshots all around. Everything really, truly is all in one place. Okay. So then from here, what I would do is I would go into my proposal and I would just click create new proposal. And let's say I'm on my vendor's website. Okay, and right here, I can go in and I have this little Ivy leaf. Do you see that little extension on your browser right here? So that's our Ivy clipper. Okay, and right here, you can click into the item and it just allows you to grab the items directly off of the vendor's website. So that's pretty amazing and definitely will save you a lot of time with the Ivy clipper. Definitely, I know it's some designers' favorite things. And from there, what you can do is you can click the product title. Right here, you can make up your own title. You can categorize it. Right here, you can create your own categories right here. Okay, and then from here, what I can do is I can add my cost and my markup. Okay, and then I don't like to call it a markup, I like to call it a purchase fee, but you can just plug in like the net price is right here. If your net price is $788, maybe you want to list it at $700 and you can set the markup and the designer will tell you right here. So I can say, okay, my cost is $500. I want it to be to my client at $700 and it would figure out that markup calculation for me. Okay. And then from here, I can add my whole big long vendor list, which is amazing. And if you're good friends with some of your designer friends, maybe they just want to give you their list of vendors. Maybe you're just starting your business. You can just import your list directly into your Ivy account. And then you can add a description right here and you can add it directly to a project. So you see this project I'm in over here. I'm going to add it directly to that project and I'm going to add the full product details as well. Okay. And then I'm going to save the product. Okay. And then I'm going to go over here. Okay. And I'm going to add that item into my Ivy account right here. And it also stores all of your items right here. So this is pretty nice. You can add products, you can add services. Definitely is really, really nice because everything's all in one place. And you can, of course, if you're not clipping from a vendor's website, you can, of course, be able to add that information into the system, add your own picture in there as well. Okay. Awesome. So then I save that. And I have my proposal that I've made really super easy here. Okay. And I love this part because you can add a different shipping, tax, everything is right here. You can request a deposit. You can have default memos on here as well. Okay. And then if I go into save, okay, you can edit this proposal based upon what you want this client to see. Okay. And from here, I can allow my client to approve or decline this proposal by line item. I can allow them to see the market percentage if you want to be transparent with your client. So it's pretty amazing. Everything here really is happening in one place. And you don't have to go outside of Ivy to do any of this project management. And then you can also add attachments if you have a contract, an LOA, like Ian was talking about, that you want to attach here, that you want to send with the proposal, you can do that as well. Okay. And then I can go ahead and send the proposal to my client. Again, same screen like I showed you before, just showing you what that looks like. You can also, when your client clicks into this, they can see the item nice and big. Okay, so that's clear for them. And then you can also click this button that says generate tear sheets. So now you have your own custom tear sheets with your logo and your branding, which is pretty amazing. And definitely looks really professional. So it definitely will help you take your business to the next level and not want to pull your hair out. Okay. And then from here, you can get the money from your client. Once it's ready, you can create your purchase orders in the system. Everything happens in one place. It really centralizes your overall workflow. You don't have to be scatterbrained. And then right here, I have all my purchase orders. Vendors love it as well because it really streamlines and gives them everything that they need from you in one place as well, which is nice. Okay, and purchase by order by email. I can even plug in my estimated ship date. And when I do that, plugging your estimated ship date will allow everything to fall onto your project management calendar, your plan. Okay. And this project doesn't have a lot of dates in it, but you see, you can see things that have already been done. You can see different people on your team. Okay, and then my favorite part is the project tracker, again, which allows you to see, without having to create a separate project schedule, everything that's on order for this project. It gives you the breakdown, all of your shipping information, your notes. You can assign it to somebody on your team, and you can download this as an Excel or an FF&E schedule you can create right here so that it's beautiful. You have this for your install day. You have this for your receiver. It downloads as a PDF with the picture, so it looks really clean. Okay. Awesome. And then from here, what I will do is I will show you just a couple other features here that I have. You have a way to manage all of your clients, all of your vendors. What I specifically love in the vendor portal is that you can upload all your vendors and you can save all of your vendor usernames and passwords in one place as well. So that's pretty amazing. Okay. And it also has a place for you to save all of your products. So, and it even links it back to that product that you clipped from. So if it's something that you clipped a year ago and you want to see if it's still in stock, you can just click that link and it will take you right to that vendor's website. And you can see, for example, if that satay is still available. Okay, so love that feature. You know, there's a lot of other amazing features within Ivy, but the overall idea is that you can really lock all of your workflow processes into one system that moves on the go with you and you can access from any computer or any iPhone. Ivy also does integrate with QuickBooks Online, so that's something important to know. We do recommend the Plus version, and we have built a partnership with QuickBooks as well, and you'll get special 30% lifetime pricing off every month if you do want to integrate your Ivy with QuickBooks, but you don't have to. You can use Ivy as a standalone software. Totally up to you. Our basic plan comes with up to 3 team members. It's $69 a month or $749 for the year. Definitely be sure to inquire with us today. We would love to set up a demo with you because there is so much to learn. Obviously, I only have about 10-15 minutes. I just wanted to show you some quick highlights. But the other thing I wanted to tell you is that the Ivy community is truly amazing. Some of you guys, you come to these webinars, you join our Facebook group, you get to go to market, meet in real life, come to an Ivy event. We really, really believe in community over competition, really bringing designers together, leveraging each other. People are sharing their contracts, they're sharing their project schedules, documents to help you save time and help you make more money. So definitely check out our Facebook group. Again, it's open to members only. And if you are using Ivy and you're listening to me right now, and you're not joining in the community, just in your Ivy account, top right-hand corner, click on community. This is where you can also access all of these amazing industry webinars that we put on. Tara orchestrates these amazing, content-rich filled. We're really big on education. You'll see at any of our events, we always try to bring somebody in, or for our online events, we try to bring somebody in that's an industry expert that you're gonna learn something from. That's number one, near and dear to our heart. Also, within, we built this training page out. You get a dedicated account manager as well. That's all included within your pricing. So definitely, if you're not using Ivy and you want to learn more, go ahead. Tara's gonna input a link into the, I think Ellie already did, that you can schedule your personalized walkthrough with a specialized. So you can just click this link, schedule your demo, learn more. We definitely want to share Ivy with you, let you know what it's about. And if you are in LA or San Diego, Orange County, definitely send me personally an email so you can get a rundown of all of our events that are happening. We have some amazing content that we're very excited to share. And we so appreciate you joining us today. So let's go ahead and I agree. It's life-changing. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, Brian is actually going to be speaking at one of our events in. So we are very excited. It's on August 16th. So definitely come join and listen to Brian if you're in the San Diego, Orange County area. It's going to be at a great outdoor space, and you're going to get the chance to hear Brian and Susan Winterstein. We're very excited. And Brian actually is such a great he has such a great Ivy story. So if you have questions about Ivy, you can always feel free to contact him and see how Ivy has really changed his business life and made his business more profitable. And that's the goal. We want to streamline all of your operations. We want to help you stop doing all the admin. Typically, designers are doing 80% admin work and 20% design work, right? And we want to flip-flop that for you. So we want you to be doing 80% design work and 20% admin, or even less than 20%. So definitely we think that Ivy will help you get to that point. And you can email Brian. He can tell you how it's been a game changer for him. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And thanks for joining us for Yian's session today. And we'll talk to you soon. Don't forget to click the link that Ellie sent to schedule your personal walkthrough. And we'll see you in San Diego, LA, Orange County, San Francisco, you name it. I'll also pop in my email so that you have it if you want to hear any more, you have any questions and you want to ask me directly. All right, thanks.